Hello and welcome to Steve's Backyard Bonsai. Today I'm going to be working on a Christmas cactus. It's not actually a Christmas cactus if you go by when it bloomed. So whatever January 30th was of this year, that's when it last bloomed. I've been wanting this plant for quite some time. My wife would not give it up. It belonged to my mother-in-law, and my wife said she would give it to me on the condition that I root all the cuttings and give them back to her. This is, well, let me just show you this this cactus. All right, I'll put up two pictures of this cactus in bloom. It had some pretty unusual flowers, but what I really like about this cactus is the trunk. Now, I don't have anything that could either be construed as a cascade or be planted as a cascade, except I think this one can. And the trunk is woody if you look at it, and it's got those little barrel cacti coming out of the base in certain locations. So it's a very unusual tree, and it's woody and has bark. So, you know, when I see those beautiful bonsai Christmas cactus out there, I keep thinking this one would make a really nice one. So I picked a pot. I have these plastic, I think they're kind of nice, cascade pots. So I took a look at it and I thought, well, maybe if I plant it just right. It's already in at one side of the pot, so I'm sure that there isn't much in the way of roots on this side. I'm going to comb out the roots, and I'm going to put it into bonsai soil in that other pot. I'll prune it afterwards, although the pruning should be done beforehand because it's going to get a little out of hand and heavy, so I'll see what's going on as I'm doing it. All right, let me get started on that. I brought out my handy, very, very thin artist's palette knife. This pot, it's a nice USA pot. They produce some nice ceramics in the earlier part of the 20th century. We have quite a few that are stamped USA. I have gloves on because of those little prickers, and if they get into my skin, I'm not gonna like it. All right, so this has been loosened up. This pot has no drainage holes, if you notice. So I often wondered if it was going to be healthy in the long run. Which is another one of the reasons I wanted to grab it. My wife had some shards of old pots in the bottom. Either that or my mother-in-law had that. I can't remember if this was hers or my wife transplanted it. But it looks like it'll be easy to comb out. Let's make sure you can see this. I do think this is an exceptional tree. There is not a lot of roots, and the soil on this side is very compacted. So I'm sure that most of the roots are right here. Probably should wash this. It's going to go into some very dry soil, so I'm not that afraid of Washing it. There's some roots down by where the plant was touching the soil, which makes sense. Oh, I think this tree is going to really love bonsai soil. I'll clean off as much as possible, then I'll wash the roots and come back. Yeah. I had noticed some wrinkling, if you see there. And that is kind of a recent development. So I'm wondering if it was just not taking up enough water. My wife tends to water once a week of all of her trees that are in regular potting soil. She waters on Saturday morning. So this tree, I don't think was getting enough. The water just, I don't know. It could have been watered more often, I think. All right, let me wash this off and come on back. I'm sorry, everyone. I thought I was videoing, and I wasn't. So forgive me. What I've done so far is discuss the placement in the pot as a semi-cascade, still leaning, but close to one side and accentuating the trunk as much as possible. I took off two of these branches that had the barrel cactus at the base. So two of them came off of here, and I took some out to clear under here, so it would be able to fit in this pot better. That's my thought process. So forgive me, a lot has come off, but and I also lightened the load on this side a little bit, because this is going to be a little hard to maintain standing up in the pot because of the weight. So now I'm about to prune this branch, and I came over to show that in here we have some very beefy parts of this branch that kind of make it look like a continuation of another trunk. So this trunk goes down here, then we have this trunk going up here and another trunk here. So we have three trunks, actually four if I keep these low ones. And I haven't decided what I'm going to do there yet. So pruning this front piece interferes with the one next to it. So I'm going to take this piece off. These operations are delicate. I don't want to damage the branch behind it. At least not until I evaluate it. I'm going to let these two come out at the same spot, but that's okay. I'm going to shorten this one to here. This one behind it is coming from this branch, and it's interfering with the piece in front of it. So I'm going to take that whole branch off. And I'm going to take this piece off. And I'm going to, oh, it's a sin. Let's see if it can even see that still. I like this piece here. but it's too long. I'm just going to shorten it a little and remove this nascent third leaf. And that has this center, well, not really. How do I want to deal with this piece? Most of it interferes on this side. I'm going to take the whole thing off. And this one. You always ask yourself the question, did you just make a mistake? I do like it. This twists, which is very interesting. So maybe it's going to twist around and do something. All right, now let me take a look at this side. Do I want these two branches down here? I don't think so. This does have a tendency to twist. If you notice, these two have the ribs on the side and this one has the ribs turning in this direction. So the whole thing does twist. All right, let me evaluate once again. I think I'm going to shorten this. Shorten this. I feel bad about that one, but I don't know what I'm going to do there yet. Taking a look from the back, this fans out in that direction. So I'm going to take that piece off and I'm going to shorten it here. This one's right next to it. It kind of mirrors what's going on here. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave, well, this is going toward the back. You really don't see it. I'm going to take this one off, basically just for weight reduction. I've got two leaves here. Take one of them out. Here's one of those three-sided cactus barrels. I like that. I'm going to shorten it to where it bifurcates. And I'm going to shorten this one and hope that it bifurcates. Now this one behind it, that's a lot of foliage. I'm just going to thin that one out. How do I do it? There's one back here. It kind of crosses, so now it's two. These all have root hairs on them. Very cool. I'll take this out. And I'm going to take the tips off of this and this. This divides into three. I'll take the lower one out. Now this divides into two here because I took one out, so those match. I've got some interference here, but which piece of it do I like better? Looking from the back, this divides into three, so I'm going to take this piece out. This divides into 3. I'm going to leave this one here. Do I want to? No, I'm going to take that out. And I'm going to remove this one that comes forward a little bit. Assuming the front is this side. Wind's a little much today. So I'm toying with the idea of taking this off, and this off. A little too high on this side. I'm going to shorten this. I think that whole thing's coming off. And there's too late to change my mind now. So that means this comes off because it's crossing the tree. I'm going to shorten this a little. I'm going to take the middle one out here. There's one in the back I'll take out. Do here. I think I'm going to take this one off. I'm going to shorten this. This. So we're just going to leave that. Time for some reevaluation. There's a root sticking straight up. I think that's the only piece I'm going to take off. Piece of root. Okay, I've prepared the pot. I think this is a nice tree to start now. I think I'm just going to take that leaf off there. Not loving that. Why not? Maybe it's just too long. All right, I'm going to leave this the way it is and see if I can't get a nice planting angle going. Here's a look at everything I've taken off. Quite a bit. I've got to root these for my wife or some of them. So we'll see how that goes. And let's get planting the tree. found a rock that fits right into the armpit there, and that'll help hold it up and stabilize it in the pot, I hope. And I still have a lot of room to bury this. All right, so I have a screen in the bottom of the pot. And I want this to end up kind of like that, with this coming a little forward and these two kind of going straight up. So here we go, filling the pot with soil. Now I mostly want to make sure that there's rocks underneath the big rock that's holding this thing up. It doesn't quite fit like I thought it would. But it's good enough. Now there are those that say that this is not a bonsai, this is a house plant, and those people are 100% right. This is a house plant. But when you prune it, it bifurcates. It gets a woody trunk eventually. Is this the vision I had? It is. This, I will cut away this leaf here. I'm still thinking this is a bit too tall. but I don't want to cut it away. This interference happening here, maybe this comes away. Let's see. Yeah, maybe that comes away. It's too bad. It's starting to get woody there. What about the one behind it? That's getting woody also. That's more woody, actually. So that leaf comes away. Where does that leaf come from? Okay, this divides into 3 down here. So I'm going to take this one out that's emanating out the middle. I can find it. I'm going to leave a piece of it there because it'll be a little hard to get out. Maybe something else will grow there. All right, I'm going to dunk water this twice. Clean this up. Got finer scissors in here. There's another branch back here that I'm not sure is so useful, kind of like what's going on here, but I'm going to leave it for now. Someday that rock will come out. This kind of obscures the trunk a little bit, but I like it for now. The true front would be there. I thought it would be a good, fun adventure putting my mother-in-law's memorial bonsai into its little pot, and it actually was. I really enjoyed this. So thank you once again for keeping me company in my backyard. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the support that you've been giving me since I started the channel.